Well, hello my dears, this is Sarah from sheholdsdearly.com, and today we're going to talk about how to decorate and style your background wherever you are so that it looks good for Zoom calls. So I have a design group that meets weekly and we do Zoom calls. And so I've been Zooming before everybody was Zooming and have thought about these things. So one of my students a couple weeks ago said, do a video and show us how to make our background look good. So, because sometimes some of my students won't flip their camera on because they don't want me to see their background. So I thought that's actually a really great idea. And then I started researching it. I just went to YouTube and I can't find anything good. I found one video by an interior designer, but I did not find nearly what I thought I was gonna find about how to style your background, like in your home or in your office. So I think it's a really needed topic to cover. These tips can help you for FaceTiming, Skyping, video calls, anything actually where you're on your computer or laptop. This will be helpful. I'm not covering phones, but you can apply these tips as well. There are actually 3 things that I want to touch on. I'm going to end with actually the decorating part, which is behind you. There's 3 things to pull off a good look for a Zoom call. There's the part that is in front of you, there's you, and then there's what is behind you. So we're going to start with what is in front of you. It's going to be lighting. We got to talk about lighting. And I see it all the time. People aren't using their lighting correctly. The very best type of lighting is natural daylight, right? So you want to, if at all possible, put your computer in front of a window. And I'm not talking like bright sunlight. If you have bright sunlight, you want to pull a white curtain over it to diffuse the light. I actually have white panels all over my house for that reason, because when I'm photographing a room, I already know which rooms are my problem rooms, and I have the option to adjust the lighting by closing those white curtains. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like facing a window and how it literally takes 10 years off your face, because it just softens everything, wrinkles go away, discoloration goes away. So standing in front of a large window is the very best. From the side is second best, although it can kind of like highlight pores and bad angles and things, so it's not as good. The worst is to stand in front of a window, and that's called backlighting. And the camera, even on a computer, it gets very confused. It starts like dealing with the backlight. It can't deal with the contrast of your face and that bright light. So what it does is it darkens your whole face and you look older than ever. Okay, so that's your first choice. You want to get set up in front of a nice window. The second choice, and I do this at night, and I will turn this area that I'm sitting in, actually I can do all 3 of these things. So I have a window over here that I can sit in front of. My background isn't ideal, so a lot of times I will angle it a little, like where I can just catch my chandelier, and then I like lean close to the camera. So I can use the window, or at night I'll flip around and I'll face the desk here and I'll flip my light on, my lamp. And so anytime you have a table lamp, and ideally they say have it like right in front of you, but I think it also looks good off to the side. So you want to try to use an LED light. So the natural daylight light bulb is really good. Tungsten, it makes your skin look a little bit orange. It's better than nothing, but you want this lamp, I say even like right here next to your computer. So if your computer's here, lamp is here, and it's a little bit higher than you, that looks nice. And then last of all are the ring lights, and I'm sure you've seen these before, but I use these for filming, and they aren't as natural looking, but they're better than nothing, and you can get them on Amazon. I think I paid like $150 for mine. And you can adjust, like, do you want it more yellow? Do you want it more white? The problem with ring lights especially is they can make your eye, you can like see the ring light in people's eyes, and now you're gonna notice this on videos. You can see a white ring around people's pupils. That's what it is, it's their ring light. and a lot of makeup bloggers and videographers use these. They're really tough with glasses, and we'll talk about that in a second. But okay, so you gotta figure out your lighting. The very worst is overhead light, and of course we mentioned backlighting. Not flattering. Okay, the second part you want to pay attention to is yourself. So this is the time to do your hair, at least the front of it. You know, if you have to wash it and style just your bangs or something, you might want to put on a little mascara, even if you're not normally wearing makeup. Just a little bit of, you know, smoothing out the skin tones, and now's the time. And honestly, I've cut corners on this sometimes, and then I'll be in a meeting and I'm just annoyed and distracted for a whole hour just looking at myself, like wanting to fix my hair and things. So do yourself a favor, put 10 minutes into touching up yourself, if that's all you have, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable through the meeting. Another thing I see people do is they'll sit with their laptop and they'll have it on their lap and just kind of sit there, okay? And it's gonna get the double chin, it's gonna go up the nose, you're gonna get the light with like the little raccoon eyes. So angle is important here. So they actually say you want your camera, so the camera on your laptop to be like a little bit above your head. And that way you're sitting up, you're looking up, try to focus on the camera. I'm still terrible at that, but try to look at the little dot instead of the people that you want to be conversing with. It doesn't feel natural, but it does look better to the viewer. Do whatever you gotta do. When I teach my design class, I've got a stool and a basket that I pull off my husband's nightstand, and I put my laptop up there and I just jerry-rig the whole thing, and it works. Another thing you can do is have a throw pillow that you put behind your lower back to tilt you forward a little bit, because the camera is not as good as the human eye, right? So it takes whatever is closest to the camera and it makes it look bigger. So me sitting like this is going to just enhance like bigger waist, bigger chest, and then like a small head in the back, and probably like going up my nose. So try to consciously sit up and sit forward. If you need a little pillow behind you, that's a great idea, lumbar pillow. And then your face is actually the focus, and then you look a little slimmer. That angle is better than down below. You can practice actually positioning yourself. If you have a meeting that you're super stressed about, like an interview or something, you can go into Zoom and say that you're starting a new meeting, and it flips on the camera for you, and then you can like, oh, like, what's the frame, you know, what am I seeing in the background, and how close does my chair need to be? And you can practice that way before you're actually live. Okay, another thing I've heard is that you want to, you need to be close enough to the screen, to the camera, where your head is like basically at the top of the screen, or within like a couple inches. That looks like inviting, it looks like you're fully present, but it also looks comfortable. So it's close enough. With a laptop, it's close enough to like reach out and type, but not close enough to be actually like on top of the computer. So there is a little bit of distance there. Okay, let's touch on glasses, because I know this is a big one. Glasses are really frustrating on Zoom calls and in actually video making as well. So can you see the rings in my glasses? Okay, that's totally distracting and like alien-like. You're seeing the ring light reflected in my glasses. So a lot of times people will just like, fine, I'm not using any light. Or they just ignore it, which I wouldn't suggest that. So they just won't use a light because they need their glasses. So a couple tricks you can do is your light needs to be raised up above your glasses. So it's still, and tilt it down on you so you're still getting some softness on your face, but it's not hitting straight into the glasses. The other thing you can do, and this is like at night, when it's your computer screen that's lit up and it's shining in your glasses, is just to turn down your monitor lighting until it looks natural. And last of all, which I'm still terrible at, is you're never supposed to touch your hair or your face, because it's totally distracting and unprofessional. Now we're on to my favorite part, which is the background. And I first started paying attention to the background in my videos and my meetings when I saw a video by Peter McKinnon. He's one of my favorite photographers on YouTube. I highly recommend him. He's like crazy, like always cutting edge, like pushing me in my thinking and my products. He did a video and it was all about the background. And the first thing he said was, anytime you can create a shape around yourself, it's a frame around yourself. So doorways are perfect for this, or like a closed door. So I will sometimes sit in the part of my bedroom, and then I get a shot of the door behind me. It's a vintage door, it's cute with the farmhouse. And it's really simple, but it's just a nice frame around myself, not too distracting, but has just a little bit of a vintage touch and not. Some things that you do not want in your background. Ceiling fans are terrible. They make people like, they make me want to like pass out because I'm just like looking at this thing moving. Totally distracting. Do not have your ceiling fan shown up in the camera when you're on camera. Of course, clutter is bad. So it's just so distracting, and you're like, people are curious, like, what's your house look like? And then there's like random, you know, weights and dishes and laundry, and they don't need to see that. So declutter. So for instance, there are 2 things in my background that need to change. See if you can figure out what they are. Okay, the first thing is that I'm blocking one of my decorations behind me. This was inspired by Shay McGee's background in her new Netflix series. And I want this fabric and this rug to show, because this is representing that I'm an interior designer. So me sitting in front of it defeats the purpose. Also, sometimes I'll get at an angle and it's like coming out the side of my head, or I've filmed videos before where I'm standing in front of a wreath and I look like I have like ferns coming out of my head. You want to pay attention to what it looks like is growing in place of your hair, and make sure you're moving away from those things. That's the first thing. Now the second thing that I hope you noticed was that I have clutter in my background. So I have a bunch of work files and kid files and things behind me. They're colored, they're messy. I will plan to remove those before I actually do a Zoom call or a video. Have things in your background that actually speak to who you are. So if you're a chef, you want to have like styled kitchen shelves behind you. I'm talking to business owners at this point, but a lot of us are doing this for work. You know, we're online with our Zoom meetings for work. So think about what you want to represent, what it is that you do. And I'm gonna show you some really great examples in a second. But so I styled up my background to make it feel like a DIY decorator, right? So I've got a rug, I've got a whole roll of decorator fabric, some vintage paint brushes, some vintage books, all the stuff that I teach about. And that was on purpose. So I have a great little corner in my house. Doesn't matter what's going on in the rest of my house, because my little corners are just always ready. I have to remove the files, but otherwise it's ready to go. So I can turn towards the window, and I shoot it up to hit a really beautiful chandelier over here over my bed. I can be at night and at my desk with the desk light on, or right now I can turn my back into the corner and I have my ring light. So find a little spot, like really analyze your house or your office. Find a spot that could be your little studio and have it just always kind of ready, like easy to touch up. The very best background, which I don't have as an example in my house right here, but it is a flat wall. And I'll show you some great examples of this. But the flat wall that then has some art behind you that speaks to who you are. So there's you, and then there's some styling right here, and there's some styling right here. If you don't have a flat wall, then you want to do angles. Like I love it when people like set up next to a bookshelf, and I mean, they have to like be not too cluttery, but I mean, I saw this guy do a Zoom call in a closet. All you could really see was this bookshelf on one side with all these like nice books. But what it did was, it's called creating leading lines. And I learned this when I took photography classes. Leading lines point to something that the designer wants you to see. So this bookshelf created these like white lines that pointed right to the guy in the camera. It was perfect. So simple. So if you have something like that, like I kind of have this corner thing going on, so I have like an arrow coming to me, that works as well. That's my second choice. Lastly, and this is probably the least important, but I would try to have a nice looking chair. So my chair is an old like King Louis French chair that I recovered. So if I have to step away, or you see it like peeking out around me, it still looks beautiful and personalized and not obtrusive. A lot of desk chairs are very large, big leather things, you know, around your head. Those don't look the best on camera. So see what you can do with that. And now I want to show you some really great examples. So here's that one I was talking about with Peter McKinnon, where he has just a simple doorway. He just moved into this new studio and he hadn't even really got all set up, but he was just showing like, I know I'm gonna sit here because the doorway is the perfect frame around me. Then I love this from Shay McGee. This actually, I mean, mine doesn't look nearly as amazing as hers, but this was the first background that I saw that I was like, oh, I could do that in my house. Is my inspiration picture. So they're sitting here, of course they're like in a cute, they're not as close to the camera as you're gonna be in a Zoom call, but you know, they're sitting on a cute piece of furniture, and then they've got their like rolls of fabric, and then they've got the bulletin board with their little design ideas, and then they added in a plant, and they've got some pillows. So you can see like how, when you just think about like, what is the message, this subtle message that I want to convey about my life, you can begin to like build a little list of what you could pull from around your house. Okay, and then I love to take classes. I have like 3 or 4 going at all times, audiobooks and master classes and things. And so I took a recent business class from Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, and I really liked her background. And honestly, now that you know these things, you're gonna be looking at people's backgrounds all the time and you're gonna notice the good ones. Okay, so here's Sarah Blakely. She has a flat background, like, I don't know if that, you know, some type of mural wallpaper. Wallpaper is great. She does have some leading lines there with that wall of windows. And then on either side, there's some furniture, flowers, little end tables. She's got the mannequins there. So someone, whoever styled her background, like knew what they were doing. And she's even got room for a rug. She's far enough in front of all of that. But then there's another time where they really zoom in. This is maybe more of what you would find on a Zoom call, and it's that simple mural that she's got, kind of like pattern pieces behind her, and then a super cute chair. So that mustard yellow velvet chair, and look how good it looks. It's not like, I don't even know if people looking at this would even think, oh gosh, that's cute. But subconsciously, it's nice. And they may not know why, but you know why, because you watch this video. Okay, here's another one by Daniel Pink. He does amazing like persuasion classes and sales and marketing and stuff. And now he has a lot of lighting in this one, is a little bit more bold. But again, you see the flat background, and then on either side, there's some interesting stuff. So there's the like bar with chairs and the lighting and some artwork. And then on the other side, there's the glass shelving. And then of course his like beautiful blue velvet chair that he's sitting in. And notice how close these people are to the camera too. This one is Howard Schultz. So the former CEO of Starbucks. I really liked his class. It has, looks like wallpaper. Actually, it kind of looks like he's in Starbucks, doesn't it? So it got like some cool sketching in the background. Got like a little table and chair, coffee shop feel on one side, little one on the other side, a plant. So again, these people really did a good job. And then a little bit of a leading line there. There's some black shelving with, it looks like coffee mugs in there. So you can do this stuff. Here's Natalie Portman. Hers is a super simple background. Hers is really blurred out, and she's got a bunch of dramatic like front lighting, but she's got like a backdrop that you would do like for a photo shoot, kind of a black charcoaly one. And then she goes ahead and lets you see the framework. So the camera angle's a little bit wider. So it's kind of a like behind the scenes moment. But again, she's got something on each side representing who she is, and then something as her backdrop that's framing her. This one is a chef. So he made sure that he's actually wearing his like chef's top. I don't even know what those are called. Those cool chef tops that's embroidered with his company name. And then he's got just simple shelves behind him. You don't want too much going on. You wouldn't want to sit in a great room where you can just see all across your house and like see into other rooms and stuff. It's too complicated. Something very flat that's kind of close to you. If it's not kind of close to you, you just have something here and you have something here. Keep it pretty simple. So he's got his open shelves and they're styled really pretty. perfectly speaks to who he is and what you're gonna learn about from him. Okay, so you get the idea. So there's the formula that you can use to style up your background. Make sure that you look good, make sure that your lighting has been thought through, and you are gonna kill it in your next Zoom meeting. All right, thanks you guys for stopping by. If you're interested in joining my Zoom meetings, my Zoom classes, I teach interior design, and I'll put a link below. The group is called Behind the Scenes. There's a wait list for it currently, but I would love to get to know you through that class. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button so I can send you more videos on how to make interior design easy. All right, take care. I will talk to you next week.